What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is going to be all about how to build lean muscle. This is a topic that I feel is very overcomplicated. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I just wanted to share with you guys some of my top tips for how to effectively build lean muscle. So first things first, if you are trying to put on muscle or put on weight in general, you must be eating in a surplus. So basically all of that means is that you need to be consuming more calories than you are burning. So if you're going to the gym and you're doing an hour of cardio at a time because you still want to be shredded, or you're lifting weights for an hour and a half and still doing cardio and you're burning all of these calories, and then you're coming home and you're eating, 1,000 calories and you're only eating 50 grams of carbs a day, it's not going to happen. So really my point is just that if you're trying to put on muscle, you cannot be eating like a bird and expect that to happen. You cannot be afraid of food. Food is your friend, especially when this is your goal. So this is a very popular problem I see among people who are trying to build muscle. I know that I personally did this myself in the beginning, and although I did have muscle definition, I was very thin, and it just wasn't exactly the look that I was going for. So if you are kind of at a plateau, or you feel like you're just not gaining the muscle that you want to be, I would suggest looking at the food that you're eating and most likely upping the calories. This next tip might seem kind of obvious, but it's something that you need to ask yourself, is this something I'm actually implementing if you are, kind of in a plateau where you're not hitting your muscle building goals, which is just challenging yourself, like truly challenging yourself at the gym. So that means that every single week on your compound lifts, you should either be shooting for adding more weight than you did the previous week. And by compound lifts, I just mean things like squats, deadlifts, shoulder press, just your main lifts. And if you are not increasing the weight almost every single week, your muscles are not going to grow. And if you feel that you cannot add the weight yet and you're not ready to add more weight to your lifts, then you should be shooting for 1 to 2 more reps than you were able to do last week. So even if it's just like a tiny bit of progress, you want to be progressing in some form. So every single week, pushing yourself harder than you did the week before and really giving your workouts like 110%. Like, don't just go through the motions. Don't just do 10 reps because your program says 10 reps or that's the amount that you're doing. Do 100%. That's my point in this, is like really pushing yourself. Like when I leave the gym, I think to myself, like, whatever muscle group I just worked, I couldn't do anything else for it. Like, it is physically exhausted. If I did shoulders, I can barely raise up my arms. If I did legs, they feel like noodles. That's how it should be every single time you work out. And of course, we're going to have days where we're like, that wasn't as great of a workout. It's going to happen. But at the end of the day, just going into the gym and actually giving it 100% every single solitary time. So a lot of people will ask me, if my goal is to put on muscle, how many reps should I focus on? Should I focus on more lighter weight and higher reps? Should I focus on heavy weight and low reps? And this is kind of the general answer for that. So if your goal is to build up a specific muscle, you want to focus on doing 6 to 12 reps of your exercises. So when you are in the 6 to 12 rep range, that puts you in the hypertrophy mode or muscle building mode. So those are technically the rep ranges that you want to stick between. So just picking, an exercise and doing 6 to 12 reps. If you go above 12 reps, it's going to be focusing more on fat burning and getting your heart rate up. And if you do less than 6 reps, you're going to be focusing more on building for strength versus building for hypertrophy or muscle growth. All right, so my next tip is probably something that you've also heard a lot, but that is because it is important, and that is getting enough protein. Protein is a crucial part in your diet, if not even just if you're looking to build muscle, but just for your overall health and your immune system, brain function, everything. Protein is extremely important. Everybody requires a different amount, but I know for a fact that majority of people are not getting a significant amount of protein, or the amount of protein that their body needs to reach their physical and their mental goals. I talk about counting macros a lot on my Instagram, and I've talked about it here on my YouTube channel. And counting macros is certainly not for everyone, and it's definitely not the only way to see results. However, I always suggest to people that if you have never tried counting your macros, I would highly suggest it for 2 to 4 weeks, simply because it gives you a really good idea of what you are putting in your body. So you might think, oh, I'm probably getting 80 to 100 grams of protein a day. And when you actually look at the amount that's in the foods that you're eating, you will be like shook, like, oh my gosh, like I thought I was getting literally double the amount of protein that I'm actually consuming on a daily basis. And it's just a really great learning experience. Even if you don't stick to counting macros, it just gives you a good idea of how much of proteins, fats, and carbs are in each of the foods that you are eating. And then that way in the future you can kind of eyeball stuff and just have a better general idea of what you are consuming and what kind of macros and protein in general is going into your body on a daily basis. So if you have never counted macros before, I highly suggest it, just so that you can kind of mentally learn how much protein you're getting and know that you're getting enough. Next is also something that, again, might seem kind of obvious, but I feel that a lot of people really don't truly do this, and that is staying consistent. Putting on muscle is extremely difficult, just like losing a lot of weight is very difficult. No matter what your fitness goals are, any change in your physical body is going to take time and consistency, and there's no way around that. There's no pill that can change that. There's no anything. There's no supplement that can change that. Although supplements are there to help supplement your diet and help supplement and give you a boost with your results, there is nothing out there on the market that will replace hard work and replace your time in the gym and in the kitchen with the right foods. So staying consistent 4, 5, 6 times a week in the gym for a long time. You know, you can't expect to see results in 2, 3, 4, 5, even 6 weeks sometimes. It takes a long time. So staying consistent, going to the gym every single week, even when you don't see the results, knowing that by going day after day, you're doing the right things, you're taking the right steps, you're gonna get the results. It's just a matter of doing it even when you don't necessarily feel or see the changes right away. My last tip that I wanna talk about is cardio. So if your goal is to build lean muscle, which it probably is because you've watched this entire video, slow down on the cardio. I see it so often that people are on the elliptical and the treadmill and the Stairmaster for 45 minutes to an hour. You are depleting your muscle. Now, there's nothing wrong with cardio. Depending on what your goals are, cardio is very good for your heart health, but there are other forms of cardio that can give you the results without spending, first of all, so much time on the machine, and second of all, depleting the muscle that you've worked so hard to build. So in my opinion, the best way to burn fat while still keeping your muscle is high intensity interval training, or also called HIIT. What this is 30 seconds to 45 seconds of high intensity, all out, just massive energy. So that could be something like sprints, where you're sprinting as fast as you can for 30 seconds on the treadmill, then hopping off and resting until your heart rate goes back down. So that could be 30 to 45 to a minute. So for me, I like to do sprints. I'll do 30 seconds on, sprinting full out, and then hop on the sides for 30 seconds and rest, catch my breath, and repeat that process for about 10 or 15 minutes. Now, high intensity interval training can be done for 10 minutes all the way up until 30 minutes. It is a great way to burn fat, to really get your heart rate up. It's great for your heart. It's great for like even just mental stress. I feel so good when I'm done doing HIIT. And you keep the muscle that, again, we work so hard to build. So when you're on the other machines for, 45 minutes to an hour, like I said, that actually depletes the muscle that you already have. So it's very hard to continue building when you're constantly also depleting. So high intensity interval training for your cardio, I would highly recommend. I put it in all of my clients' plans. It is really mainly the only form of cardio that I do. And yeah, just slow down on the regular cardio, and you don't need to spend all day on the machines. So that is my last tip. I hope you guys found this valuable and helpful, and hopefully you guys can implement some of these tips into your routine so that you guys can see the results that you are looking for and not feel like you are questioning your routine at the gym or questioning what you're doing, and you can feel confident about moving forward and reaching your goals. So if you guys watched this video and enjoyed it, do not forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to help support my channel, and please let me know what you guys would like to see in future videos. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.